If you've ever received and reviewed resumes that seem perfect, then the applicant ghosted you upon setting up an interview, or even hired someone who left within the first week or even first shift, let's see if we can help you fix that. Here is, I'm going to present to you a four-stage hiring process for dog daycares. To begin with, what I'll do is share thine screen. There you go, it's loading up. So this four stages, one of the funny things I think is if you actually got a resume of how people really felt and were being honest. So I've got this little piece here, experience. I've petted a lot of dogs. So it's just a little bit of a commentary on how sometimes people think the job is actually much different than it really is. Some applicants come in with a mindset of, oh, this is being a child with an animal versus a parent who has to care for all the parts of raising that animal safely that the kid doesn't have to really worry about. So, in any event, stage one is really focusing on creating a stand out job posting. So obviously there's many different layers to hiring process is not necessarily working as well as we'd like. If a person is having a difficult time getting enough resumes, this is something you definitely want to look into is like, can I create a more standout job posting? Because sometimes if people have had trouble with getting good applicants, they might be a little bit too, might not promote the job in the most ideal way because they're really trying to keep away those people that might be like an applicant. So emphasizing the reality of the job, but also helping people understand the true benefits of working with animals can help with that. The other piece about stage one with the standout job posting is where you're posting. There's lots of different options. Most jurisdictions have a local job bank or federally or provincially or in your state or your county. So those can be great free resources. Then, of course, there's Indeed as well as there is Facebook Marketplace has some job postings and Kijijis and all those kinds of things. So anyways, standout job posting can help you get some solid applications. Second portion of this is what we want to do is pre-qualify applicants before we ever meet them. So someone submits a resume, all you simply do is you reply to that email or however you received it with a short little response and send them a questionnaire. Now, the thing I love about a questionnaire is it saves you from potentially wasting time at an interview. But also, if the people complete the questionnaire, that's going to open up the interview, but they're a lot more serious if they're willing to complete the questionnaire. The questionnaire might take anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer, depending on what you want to ask them. Our questionnaire that we utilize is maybe 12 questions. It's not a lot, but it gives us a lot of information and feedback as to if the person's actually that interested in the role that we're hiring for. Things like how quickly they submit the questionnaire back to you. There's a lot of it more information. Obviously, you're going to get what they fill in the questionnaire, but you're also going to get a bit more of a vibe. So it's like, are they responding with one word answers or are they being a bit more articulate? So the questionnaire is a great pre-qualifying way for applicants before you spend any time setting up that next step. With it, you're going to find their experience and skill set. You're going to understand their attitude and motivation, and maybe get much more clear on their availability and reliability. Because some people might say they're looking for part-time work, but you're hiring for full-time. And then the hours they say they're looking for on days you don't need hours, it's like they didn't even read the application, or rather the initial job posting. So this can save you an immense amount of time from scheduling unnecessary interviews. Stage three is you're going to book the interview with the candidates that feel like a better likely fit. So that's pretty standard, book the interview. But the exception of what you're going to do at the end of the interview for the candidates that you like is you're going to invite them to stage four. And stage four is an in-person working trial. So typically it's going to be between 2 to 4 hours, but I'm going to have them volunteer. I'm going to maybe have them complete some form of a release of liability or understanding that this isn't an offer to a job, but rather just a volunteer to see if they might be a good fit. But this stage four is really great because you get so much more information from it than you would have got otherwise. Because there's things that and ways people behave that you don't know how they're going to really stand up in that position. So, for example, How are they going to interact with the dogs and other team members? Do they ask thoughtful questions and seek clarification as needed? Do they take initiative without being told? And how do they handle the more stressful moments when maybe dogs are getting combative or loud, or they need to be intervened like a referee? Some of these things can be taught, but some can't, right? Do they have good instincts and awareness? And one recent example is I was there for a trial of a person we recently hired. And I was talking to my manager. She hosted a handful of them and was really interested in two applicants, but wasn't sure which one. She said they're both pretty even. And I asked her a few questions, and it was more about what tools do this person, both of these people, bring to the table with a little bit of training that they've had during their in-person working trial. And one of the candidates had extra tools compared to the other one. And the tools were initiative, filling in a gap where she noticed there was a need. And the second piece was more confidence or certainty or willingness to move towards dogs that are misbehaving or overreacting and trying to de-escalate and calm a situation, whereas the other applicant didn't do either of those things. So when I was able to identify that, I was like, well, in my opinion, I think we probably might want to consider going with this particular applicant. And that was really helpful. So that's why I like these four steps. Now, if you want a specific questionnaire to work off of, I have access to one that we use in my own business and I've shared with other business owners with doggy daycares. Simply comment wherever you're able to, link, and I can send you a link to ours and you can copy it, use it as a template, whatever you want. But it's a really good, beneficial questionnaire to make this process as easy as possible. By all means, if you have any other questions about any of it, don't hesitate to ask, comment, and share, all those kinds of things, because they tend to help. And other than that, you know how to get in touch with me if you want any clarity on anything I just went over. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day.